Hi friends, I'm Maria Miliora. Welcome to my channel. We are doing a next phase of my perfume, my huge perfume collection, Declutter. I have pulled just basically about a half of a shelf. I have overall four big shelves in my little shelf unit. And we already decluttered a few extras that I have. That's all the fresh perfumes, and I'll just add all of the ones that I haven't yet sold or swapped, so you can take a good look. And if you like anything, if you like to swap it or ask for a bundle, just let me know. My social media handles are miliora.maria, so please let me know. So far I had already 2 swaps, very successful, very excited about it. So there's still a lot of cool stuff we could probably exchange, and you get new perfumes without paying a penny. And the same for me too. I think it's a very great and a very exciting idea. Anyway, today is the reckoning day for my florals. Are you ready? Are you ready? I'm not ready for this at all. But we're gonna power through. I basically pulled roughly a half of from my shelf of all florals. I think I described it in my previous collection video, and I'll do a new one as soon as I declutter as much as I can to show you sort of the updated collection. I do have roughly 4 large shelves, and there's no any kind of dogmatic distinction between the shelves, rather than more like a mood type of distinction. And fragrances that I call florals, at least to my nose, are the ones that have either a very pronounced floral bouquet or one floral note that to my nose, kind of dominates the whole composition. But I do move perfumes between the shelves here and there, depending on what suits me best. Okay, let's start from easy. I think I need to build up the courage, to be honest. This is a modern contemporary version of Insolence by Guerlain, which is their iconic violets. Accord of the violet flowers played in the kind of powdery notes. I have tried Insolence at its infancy when it was just first released. I was very young back then, and it was heavy, smothering sweet powder that I couldn't really tolerate very well. It's been years and years. The fragrance has survived a lot of reformulations and a fair number of flankers, and I decided to buy it in the new kind of unified packaging. A lot of people, the perfume community, has split into largely 2 large schools of thought: those that champion a niche-like unification of Guerlain bottles, and those that are appalled by it. I actually, as snobbish as I am about historic things and this and that, I do prefer this packaging. I find it to be more elegant. I find it to be more pleasant to hold, and the older ones look cheap to me. That's just according to my aesthetic preferences, I guess. So violets turns out still not my favorite note, so this one is gonna be very easy to let go. This is Eau de Toilette, Insolence by Guerlain. All the fragrances that I'm gonna be putting aside are ready to be purchased or swapped, and at the end of the video I'll try to show you all the other fragrances that are already decluttered and the ones that haven't been swapped or sold yet, so you can kind of peruse and choose and basically contact me via social media and we'll make it work. This is a lily scent, one of many that I bought in my quest for the perfect lily scent, because lily used to be my favorite white floral. Now it's one of. This is Horseball Lily. Very hard to find any descriptions of this brand. It's very affordable, but in terms of the quality of the blend, in terms of the impressions of different people, there's not much information out there. So I bought it purely blindly, and let me sniff it. It is delightful. It's easy to wear. The lily here only shows at the top notes, otherwise is kind of this typical fruity floral in a way very similar to most fragrances that Elizabeth Arden makes. If you're familiar with those and the way that the kind of subtle fruity floral sweetness presents itself in her fragrances, such as Fifth Avenue and many others, this is kind of like a similar story, just with a central or more like opening accord of a lily. The lily here is not very animalic, it's just very wearable, a very kind of user-friendly type of scent. But it's not my cup of tea because I have this, a much more expensive option that still smells a lot like garden lilies, not animalic at all, very purist, very elegant, simple in many ways. Atkinson's My Fair Lily is one of those daytime appropriate lily scents that lacks any kind of teeth. It's not too fresh, but it's also not musky, not animalic, not indolic by any means. So basically, choosing between the two options is just like, you know, I'm more likely to use a niche option than I am this. Even though there are exceptions to that rule in my collection, but, you know, like I spent a fair amount of money on this, I still haven't given it fair wear, so I want to concentrate on wearing this and coming up with a final opinion and letting this go. Well, since we're on the lily kick, Rochas Parfums Lily, which I'm very lucky to get this as a PR sample from the Russian PR firm. This is more of a frangipani with echoes and kind of subtle flavors of tuberose than a lily. I smelled, I think, Extra de Parfum in one of the European boutiques, and that made me think of this beautiful, rich, almost gourmand lily scent. Eau de Parfum seems to be notably different. Not in love with it, but I haven't worn it enough to really kind of consolidate my opinion on whether I need or not do not need it in my collection, so I'm going to keep that. So, okay, so the ones that I'm keeping, I'm going to the right, and the ones that I'm letting go of are going to the left. Cartier Basé Volé, this is a 6 milliliter new miniature. I got it as part of the set. I already have a full-size bottle of Basé Volé. I love this beautiful, fresh, zesty lily scent, and I don't need kind of like a mini here, so that's perfectly ready for to be sold or swapped. But I do enjoy this fragrance. I already have a full bottle of it. Burberry Brit. I thought I would enjoy it because I do love Burberry Brit Rhythm. Here it is. But I do enjoy this way more than the original. This is the golden era of Burberry scents, to be honest. I do find that I prefer their early 2000 releases way more than the contemporary stuff they make. And I just feel you can't go wrong with older Burberry scents. They just have it all. They're quintessentially ideal designer scents. So, that said, this is a little bit sweeter than the Burberry Brit Rhythm. This has more lavender. This is just a more classic, semi-sweet. It's kind of hard to pick it apart. It's just very well-rounded, sweet but not glowing, floral but not, with hints of florals, you know, but nothing dominating there. Beautiful scent, just not my favorite comparatively. So I'm more than willing to let it go, and I'm keeping Burberry Brit Rhythm. Lavender. My top one lavender fragrance, in my collection at least. Lavandula by Penhaligon's. This lavender is so dry, so fresh, and so it's almost minty in a way, like how both cooling and warming it is. There's not a single hit of any kind of excessive herbaceousness or no gourmand notes whatsoever. This is like the driest high elevation lavender that I've experienced. I absolutely love it. I bought it in Edinburgh in Penhaligon's boutique, so this is very memorable and beloved perfume for me. Since we're on the lavender kick, a new bottle for me, Lavender by Molinar. This is surprisingly, even though this purple collection by Molinar is considered to be sort of staple-like solid notes, by which a lot of different brands benchmark how they approach making solid note fragrance collections. It's not new, but it's been repackaged a few times. Here, lavender is surprisingly not so easy to wear. It is very smoky, woody, smoky, maybe a little bit spicy, but still not very sweet. I am not in love with this perfume, but it's very new to me. I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it until I actually arrive and solidify my conclusions. Another Molinard I'm looking at, this is definitely no. I tried wearing it. It's very much a Bulgarian type of rose perfume. If you have ever visited East Europe or grew up there, you will know what I'm talking about. The oil, the rose oil that you get from Bulgaria and like in other South of Europe countries has very specific rose flavor. It's unmistakable. There's like no comparison between it and maybe damask rose or green fresh roses or garden roses. It's a very specific thing. If you love it, you'll love this one, and it's one of the most affordable options on the market right now. I, to be honest, have like a PTSD with Bulgarian rose oil because it was everywhere in my childhood. There was like too much of it, and it's just, no. I had, like, at some point in my life, I had too much of it, and at this point, I'm trying to avoid that. But otherwise, it's, like, iconic in a way that it's, like, how Bulgarian rose fragrances should be, or at least how all of them partially will smell like. So I'm letting go of this one. A fresh, zesty bergamot rose by Valentino, Rosa Verde. That was a swap with my subscriber. I'm very much happy with it. It's fairly new to me and I enjoy it. We'll keep wearing it. Tom Ford Perfume. Another white lily scent. Very spicy. Kind of gourmand, but it's not very sweet, I would say. I really enjoy this scent. I'll keep wearing it. Here we have Judith Leiber Night. This is, let me smell it again. This is kind of sweet, fruity, something. It's one of those designer scents that the name is a legion. It's I don't know. I never wear it. It's not bad. Like, most designer scents are designed to be pleasant at the bare minimum. It's just I never really get anything out of wearing it, even though it comes with high praise from a lot of people who enjoy Chanel fragrances. I think that's partially how I landed at it. Somebody was comparing it either with Coco Mademoiselle or I don't remember. Honestly, I don't remember. I just bought it blindly and no. There's just nothing there for me. Ciel by Amouage. This is kind of somewhat swampy, light floral. Light in the sense not that it's not very bright or has longevity. It's Amouage fragrances. If you are not familiar, it's like a British/Arabic brand. They are known for their projection and kind of beast mode type of presence. The Ciel is probably the lightest of all to date. And to me, it's an evil mermaid fragrance. I love it. Kedou Mimo Paris. Still don't know whether this is real or fake. They keep circulating in my mind, but I do wear it as a morning perfume. This is Brocard collection, Franco Ferretti, in the fragrance name is Siesta. Beautiful, delicious, easy to wear, sweet white florals. It's just such it's almost if you could make a tiramisu out of white flowers. Not very long lasting, absolutely horrific packaging to be honest, but it's so cheap. If you have any friends or relatives or you visit Russia or neighboring countries, I guess not anywhere, but in most of Eastern Europe you can find Brocard fragrances in this like experimental niche house, what I call the Russian Jo Malone. If you like Jo Malone, you will find a lot of their fragrances to be truly innovative and delightful at the same time. I love it. I do wear it, and it reminds me of, let's find it. I do have something of this kind. Yeah, California Reverie by Van Cleef & Arpels. Can you see it here? I find that they are very close. Again, which is good news for those of you who have access to Russian market of fragrances. And again, if you already know and love California Reverie by Van Cleef & Arpels, if you can put your hands on Siesta by Bracar, you will save a ton of money. I'm keeping both. Okay, we'll get to DECANTS a little bit later. Let's first sort out all of the bottles. This is an affordable Arabic fragrance. To be honest, I'm still trying to make sense of that market. The Arabic dupes of famous perfumes, there are a lot of them. They are slowly but surely winning over at least a lot of Eastern European markets. I'm not sure about the American market yet. The good things about perfumes like that, and this is Armaf Club de Nuit Intense. The good things about them that they are usually fairly uncomplicated, means user-friendly. You don't have to study them with a dictionary. They usually they're bright. They have decent longevity and a lot of projection. So they're kind of like crowd pleasers in many ways. They take more sophisticated and expensive fragrances and convert them into a kind of like body spray friendly type of versions. But I do have a lot of conceptual questions and kind of like ethical questions when it comes to stealing intellectual property from other creators. So still not sure where I stand on that, but for now, Club de Nuit is like fruituli type of scent. It's fruity, a little bit sour. I do enjoy it. I don't really wear it, to be honest, but every time I smell it, it's delightful. It's like easy to wear fun kind of thing. The bottle is super heavy. I would be willing to part with it if anybody showed any interest. I have about like half of a bottle left, which is, believe me, plenty. Well, let's look at that. Serge Lutens Gris Clair. Some people call it the ironing scent, because to them it reminds them of the scent that something that you smell when you iron clothes. To me, it's a beautiful, slightly spicy lavender. I do enjoy it a lot. A Gourmand Lavender by Oscar de la Renta. Beautiful bottle, but I don't really enjoy the gourmand, the kind of the sugary, caramelly-like sugary base here. So if you like lavender lattes and you like lavender syrups, you might be interested in this. I'm more than willing to part with it, because I like dry lavenders and spicy lavenders more. And another Oscar de la Renta, which is Spirit de Oscar. You can see it here. And this, to me, is aldehydes without aldehydes. Basically, this is not really an aldehydic fragrance, but it's not easy for me to wear old school aldehydic fragrances. And this is the one where I found a kind of piercing, slightly sparkly floral that makes me think of old school aldehydic fragrances. You know, think not necessarily Chanel No. 5, but maybe Arpège, a lot of others. Gosh, I'm blanking now. Anyway, yeah. If you are interested in wearing old school aldehydes, but you can't quite make friends with them, this could be it. I really enjoy wearing it. Talking of aldehydes, the roses with old school, slightly oily aldehydes, and a rather rare but affordable find. This is Pierre Cardin Rose. I love this rose. It's zesty, it's a little bit weird, but for me, in a very delightful 80s kind of way. I do enjoy the bottle, even though it constantly falls over. It's not very stable. If you can find it, you'll find it for very cheap. Otherwise, you won't find it at all. This is that kind of case. Rosa Pop by Aqua Allegoria. Oh my god, I spent so many agonizing hours trying to find the right Aqua Allegoria for me, because when it comes to different roses, there's probably 5 or 6 of them now. So eventually I landed on Rosa Pop. I read I don't know, hundreds of reviews online on it. It's just boring, to be honest. I already made a video about my best fresh morning green invigorating roses, and clearly this didn't make the list because I just find this to be in some ways generic. It's like a generic floral. Even though I like the bottle, it's, you know, like it's just another case that I have better alternatives. And even though they're perfectly fine fragrances, and some people might just, you know, bathe in them and, you know, use them up in one season, but not me. That's not going to be me. So, parting with this. Zizonia by Penhaligon's. It's a mix of dry kind of herbal notes, florals, and the kind of aftershave kind of old spice in the opening. Bought it blindly, had no idea what I was getting myself into, but I love it. I love it. It's a feminine shipper. It combines these kind of aftershave shipper notes with florals and dry hay in the most delightful and elegant manner. I adore it. Fendi Furiosa. Semi-sweet yellow floral. I don't have a lot of yellow florals in my collection. They, oddly enough, are not in vogue right now. They're not very popular. And I'm patiently waiting for their comeback. And when they do come back in vogue, I will pull out my deliciously designed gold bottle of Furiosa by Fendi and spray the world with it. Love it. Talking of yellow florals, look at this disaster. And I also have a decant, I need to find it where, of another Poeme by Lancome. I have two vintages ones from 90s, which is a decant that a subscriber of mine shared with me. Thank you very much, Bella. This is a, as you can see, a vintage. You can see it at least by the quality of the sprayer. It's thicker, and it's like this is like a contemporary release. You see, it's almost transparent. I don't know why I bought both vintage and the new. First, it came the contemporary version of Poeme. Then I bought secondhand from Mercari a vintage bottle. I don't know, I think it's just like the snobism got the better of me. I thought that since I did manage to enjoy wearing the new one, I should really indulge myself into wearing the vintage version, despite the notion that Poeme is a truly powerhouse of a fragrance. If you are looking for something that is Amouage or Elie Saab or gosh, Tom Ford type of richness, lavishness, and loudness, Poeme. It has very distinctive olfactory profile. Like once you know what Poeme smells like, you will recognize it anywhere you go. Iconic, absolutely iconic, but at the same time smothering, heavy, moody. It dominates the space. It's not like you're wearing Poeme. Poeme wears you. And the vintage versions are even more so. So a lot of people complain that a lot of new reformulations, including Poeme, kind of lack depth. You know what? I'm perfectly happy to wear this with 2 sprays, but this even with 1 just kills me. It suffocates me. So the vintage version, I'm more than willing to swap or sell to someone who wants to experience the true classic, and I'll keep the contemporary one because this is actually the version that I can occasionally wear every once in a while. So yeah, if you're looking for a royal yellow floral, Poeme by Lancome. Here you go. Once Upon a Time Aphrodisia by Brocard. Fruituli, kind of like floral patchouli scent. Perfect for hot, sticky summer. But I don't quite wear it a lot. So if you're interested in some kind of Eastern European, hard to find, easy to wear gem, I'm willing to part with it. Fig by Molinard, a sweet, ripe fig, fruity kind of fragrance. It's very new to me. I'll wear it a lot, hopefully this spring. 1828 by Histoire de Parfums. My first full-size bottle. It's huge. It's 120 ml. Love it. This is what made me fall in love with Histoire de Parfums bases in general. I love their herbaceous green, kind of dry herbs type of DNA that runs through most of their is it portraits or years line of fragrances. Love it. By the way, in case if I keep a fragrance, it doesn't mean that you can get it. I do sell decants. I'll leave all the links below for you in the description. So if you're looking for, to test drive something, check out my stash. Grace by Grace Goddington, made by Comme des Garçons. This is what I called hot spicy urine. Here the rose scent is wrapped with a lot of spices with incredible fresh zestiness that makes me think of hot pee or urine. But it's the best kind. I do love it. I spent many months searching for it, agonizing over purchasing it because it's not cheap. And I'm so happy I did. First of all, the bottle is collector's worthy. It's both simple and super fun. 1826. In many ways, if you have one of these, you don't need both. I do find that they are suspiciously similar, at least that's how they smell to me. I find that 1828 has a little bit more character, but this, like, at the same time, that makes 1826 a little bit more wearable, a little bit more flirtatious. But I do kind of have a bit of a completionist attitude with Histoire de Parfums, so for now I'm keeping both. Sweet Jasmine, that is just very hard to me to wear. The way Mugler approaches jasmine scents, and this is their alien flanker that's called Extraordinare. I tried and tried and tried. This is probably third or fourth flanker variant that I spend my own money on, and all of them eventually leave my collection. Nope. More than willing to sell or swap it. Tea Rose, very affordable scent, not super complicated, but if you use it in the right proportion and at the right time, it gives you an incredibly refreshing rose garden after the rain kind of impression. I love it for linens, just adore it for linens and towels. And a more deep, nuanced and sophisticated version of the same thing, kind of garden roses, is Rose Royale by Nicolas Parfumeur Créature. I bought, I think, 4 scents by them, and since then sold off all but this one. Just, it's like, it's the case when I appreciate and respect what they do, but something in their DNA, in the basis, doesn't quite like my skin. It doesn't quite blend, it doesn't quite open up and live nicely on my skin. So this, as you can see, let me show you what's inside. I think I have 30 ml here, yeah. I kept the packaging because I almost immediately knew as soon as I smelled it that's not gonna work out for me. And again, at this point, I have a lot of beautiful, fresh roses, and this is one of those. This is a very elegant, nuanced, non-sweet, but romantic type of rose. And I have a lot of options that I already absolutely adore. I think somebody else deserves to give it a go. It's a remarkable niche brand, I'm not gonna lie. It's just I haven't found my fragrance in their line yet. And the last one, I made a little to-go box for you of Infusions de Prada, which is the cologne line that I prefer among all designer fragrances. I prefer it way more than Aqua Allegoria. I prefer it more than Jo Malone and like a lot of things. This is so elegant. This is so fun. I had a huge set. I think it was 8. And I basically tried them all. Some of these are full, some of these are not. Again, I'll leave a link below. You can see the pictures of what's inside. Here we have Iris. Didn't quite work out for me. I mean, it's the kind of the one that started the collection of colognes by Prada. But to me, it's a little bit boring. And I do prefer Vetiver and Amande, which is almond. I just tried them all at this point. I don't need to finish the bottles, and I think somebody would be happy to kind of give it a go and sample the colognes, at least 4 of them. Here we have Fleur d'Orange and Oulé, which is Carnation. I tried them. I chose the ones that I like the most, and to me it's Rose, Vetiver, and Almond. And at this point, I think I should pass them along and let somebody else try them. Okay. If you think that's it, you're sorely mistaken. We still have decants and we still have half of my floral shelf to go through, but that will be in a different video. Let's just quickly peruse through the decants and see what stays and what goes. One, I bought myself one, a subscriber sent to me, which is great. I'm gonna just fill a huge, beautiful decant with this friend. This is Chapard Neroli a Cardamom. I was on a kick looking for a best Neroli scent for me. Haven't found it yet. Dolce & Gabbana Velvet Desire. Oh, this is, let me remind myself. Tuberose. White florals, rich, flamboyant, covered in gold. But I can't tolerate tuberose, guys. I get migraines. So this was a gift from a subscriber of mine, and I'm more than willing to swap it for like another decant of the same value, if you're guys curious. This is the boutique line by Dolce & Gabbana. You won't find it in the store, like not in the normal stores. Okay, Latin Lover Carner Barcelona, very fresh decant in my collection. Barely sprayed it once or twice. This is kind of like a romantic white floral scent, not too different from California Reverie by Van Cleef & Arpels, but I do prefer Brocard Siesta and California Reverie more. So I kind of don't like. I smelled it. It's nice. It's kind of like nice, but I don't feel like, you know, like I need to wear it to really confirm the same opinion. So I think I would rather swap it for something else, if you're curious. And also, Carner Barcelona is a Spanish niche brand. They do have a very particular way they compose their fragrances. Most of their fragrances have this kind of cool tiramisu/souffle type of presence in space. So if you've never tried anything like that, here's your chance. And this is super wearable. Like, this is a non-controversial type of thing to try. Trésor by, what is it? Lancome, right? This was my decant from Parfums.com. This is a contemporary version of Trésor. Peachy, somewhat nutty, but not my kind of peach. I do prefer the way Micallef does peachy fragrances and Kilian. So this Trésor, would be super happy to find a second home for it. Nude Veritas. This is a niche house of, gosh, Atelier des Ors. You know, the one that has golden flakes all through? It's like, hard luxury style. White florals, a thinner, lighter. So this is not sweet white floral. This is more like elegant and light, somewhat similar to how Penhaligon does florals, or maybe even this one. How much do I have here? I mean, I'm not in love with it. It's cool. It's easy to wear, it's elegant, it's well made, but I think I'll just use it up and forget about it. I'm not sure it's worth the full price tag. New fragrance to me, La Nuit de Cellophane, which is Serge Lutens. And this is the decant I got from FragranceNet. Here you go, Serge Lutens, Nuit de Cellophane. This is plasticky jasmine, and it's plasticky by design. As you can see, cellophane. Haven't formed an opinion yet, so I'll keep it. Oh, birch and I have it on the tip of my tongue. The fruit, pears and birch. What a stunner by Mila Harris. A subscriber of mine sent me a generous decant. Oh, this is so cool. I mean, this is cool. Not a very common combination of notes for fruity fragrances, so I'm definitely keeping it. I'll be wearing it to the last drop, and then we'll make an executive decision whether I'm buying full-size bottles. So moving on. My second decant of Atelier Bohème Extraordinary Tulip, the best tulip on the market. I am crying every night because I can't find a full-size bottle for a reasonable price, and with my expenses when it comes to fragrances, the price is a concern because I'm buying a lot of fragrances, guys, to review. So yeah, so far I just keep getting decants from Scentbird and hoping that one day Atelier Bohème will see that I made a dedicated video for their brand and will melt from love and send me a full-size bottle and say, Maria, you deserve it. Let's make it happen, Atelier Bohème. Let's make it happen. I love your tulips so much. It should be legal. Okay. Bulgari. It's one of their boutique lines, you know, the ones that looks like jewelry and like costs $400 or something. Bulgari Imperiali Irina. Okay, this is new. Don't know what I'm talking about. I'll be wearing it and eventually we'll talk about it in another video. Right now it's just, there's not much I can say. I just got it. This is Maison Margiela, a generous decant. Thank you so much again, guys. Those who are so generous to send me decants of your favorite fragrances or the fragrances you want to hear my take on, thank you so much. This what makes probably half, yeah, at least half if not more of all of my reviews possible, to be honest with you. And this also allows me to remain brand neutral, because, you know, like when you accept brand PR, even if you accept it on very open terms, which obviously I only do, you know, independent reviews, but still, when you get brand PR, it can get icky, especially if you hate the fragrance, right? It's easy for me to find something positive and something negative and kind of present it in that way. But there are times when I'm just in awe, like, why? Why are we polluting Earth with this garbage? I'm just trying to be honest. So the fact that some of you guys, again, anytime you send me a decant of like a new release or something you like or something you just want like to hear my take on, thank you so much. So this is one of those examples. Maison Margiela, Promenade in the Gardens. I was very skeptical about the Margiela's line. It's very expensive for what it is. That's what I thought. That was until I tried many of them and I realized, okay, I get it. Yep. I want like at least 5 in my collection now. This is one of them. This is delightful floral. It's, again, the kind of quality I expect from Penhaligon's, maybe L'Artisan Parfumeur, Atkinson's, and like all of those kind of the British style of blending that is sophisticated, elegant, thinly weaved, and at the same time has decent longevity. Beautiful stuff. Repetto. They are Flagman perfume, which is kind of like sweet, what is it? I think it's pears. Sweet pears with a little bit of a kind of bubbly soda. Maybe even like a chewing gum mixed with it. It's very girly. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the company that makes Pointe, that makes ballet shoes. And they dedicated Repetto fragrance to the culture of ballet. It's kind of like a quintessential millennial type of scent. I imagine a lot of people who love the color millennium pink will find this to be delicious. To me, it's almost too early. I'm not gonna lie. So, in case you're interested in swapping this is also not that easy to find in the States. So, if you want it, you can have it. Liaisons Dangerous by Kilian. Peachy musk. Fun to wear, easy to wear kind of musks. Kilian really knows how to make those sultry. I will keep wearing it. And this is very new to me. This is Florals by Eric Butterbaugh, Apollo Hyacinth. Eric Butterbaugh had a huge selection on Scentbird a while ago. Now it almost all sold out. And I waited that long to grab, I think this is the last one that they have in stock. This is a Solely Floor of Hyacinth, and I'm excited to give it a go, so I'm keeping it. Alright, Decants, keeping 11. And again, all of these are truly enjoy wearing. Some of them are newer than others, and the plan is basically to wear them to the ground, you know, to the last drop, and make an executive decision. Am I moving on, or am I buying a full-size bottle? So we have 11 here, and I'm letting go of roughly 4 with a set of 4 miniatures, so roughly 8. Okay, 11 keeping, and oh wait, 8 and 2 miniatures here that I'm letting go of. 10. Okay. Huff. I reduced the small sized perfumes in Huff. I mean, that is if you guys help me out and pick a few for yourself. Okay, let's count how many I'm getting rid of. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 12 full-size bottles I'm getting rid of. Let's take a good look at them so you can kind of make a few notes for yourself, the kind of things you might want to buy, bundle maybe together, or swap for something else if we can find a mutually beneficial swap options. Here we go. So these are all of the fragrances that should be leaving my collection soon. And I'm keeping 2, 4, total of 21. Yeah. So 12 to go, 21 to stay. That gives us what? How many? What's the percentage here? My dear friends, I potentially, with your help, can declutter my collection by 36% from what we see here. I think that's a very substantial and promising reduction. Anyway, don't forget, I'm waiting for swap and purchasing and bundling opportunities. Let me know if you're intrigued by anything. I'll be more than happy to consider decanting some of these as well. Yep. And that's not even everything. It's only about roughly a half of what I have in my collection. I just didn't want to overwhelm you guys with everything that I have. I'm not trying to be, you know, like ruthless for the sake of just entertainment value. Like, you know, like we all know all of those like shock value videos like, oh, 70% gone. I wouldn't get rid of a bottle if I was enjoying the scent. And sometimes I even do enjoy the scent, as you've seen, and it's just, it doesn't quite give me the joy in comparison with something else that I have, or maybe I'm just a little bit bored with it. Like, we had our time, and at this point I'm just ready to try something new. So this is why basically I'm so excited to hear back from you if you want to swap anything or do any kind of exchanges, or if you just would like to support my channel and buy a few bottles for yourself. I'll really appreciate your support. Thank you so much for watching. I think I'll sort of like sit on it for a little bit before I do a next declutter, so maybe like in a week or two we are gonna look at another sizable chunk of my massive perfume collection. Thank you once again for watching. I'll see you in the next video.